My name's Kinesis Fend. I've been a professional biking kit tester for nearly 25 years. And today, I'm riding my Kinesis RTD with the Kinesis Fend Off alloy mudguards. Now you can see, proper full-length coverage. That mud flap is pretty much on the floor, and it's full metal mudguard, and it's full metal stays as well. You can see they're just bolting onto the back of the fork there, and then same setup on the rear, but double stays, and again, full coverage as you can see. The all metal construction does make them a little bit heavier than something like an SKS chromo-plastic. They're just under 600 grams, which is about 100 grams heavier than a set of chromo-plastics. But you're getting a stiffer and, well, just more sturdy, kind of, yeah, just stronger, I guess. I mean, yeah, to be fair, chromo-plastics are pretty much indestructible because of their flexibility, whereas these are, you know, built on a much stiffer, sort of stronger structural basis. Oh, why do I film with this hand? Because I can't change gear. But there is a slight weight penalty to that. But on the flip side, they're very strong and stiff if it comes to getting stuff stuck underneath them or a twig in the way, etc. Because the guards themselves are stiff, it also means the whole setup is pretty rigid on the bike. There's very little rattle or buzz going on, and they're not flopping and flapping all over the place like some of the sort of flimsier plastic lighter mudguards can do. The downside is, because it's metal on metal, you do need to make sure everything is nice and tight, or you will get a bit of rattle. And also, slightly concerned about, I mean, while they're plenty stiff enough to shrug off a stick, I'm slightly concerned what would happen if you have a real cataclysmic something getting wedged in the wheel, and that metal end digging into the tyre, especially as you've got to put a little bolt through onto the mud flap. Bit concerned about what would happen if you got something jammed in there and it folded up, because that is going to properly stop you hard. And I know there are some safety standards covering that whole, oh, little cattle grid, covering that whole quick release and a safety mechanism for mudguards. The metal construction also makes them, well, obviously it makes them tougher. It also makes them a bit harder to cut and trim if you need to make space for a front mech or any other bits of clearance around the rear tyre. And you can see that the front guard there, the clip is set up so it goes under the fork crown, and then the narrow bit of the guard goes in between the fork legs. But on a lot of bikes now, especially disc brake bikes, you haven't got that old through bolt for a caliper brake, and even on this Kinesis it means that the guard is actually further back than it should be, so you've got a thin bit in there, and then the guard actually wraps further round than it should. And because it's rolled back further around the fork, that means the front section doesn't stick as far forward, so you're getting more spray in your face off the front of the tyre. And while you get all the bolts to actually put the stays onto the guards and stuff like that, and the washers, you don't get any of the fixtures for actually bolting them onto the bike. So make sure when they buy the guards that you get the appropriate fitting bolts as well, whatever they might be for your bike. But I guess because there are so many potential fit kits, you can't expect to upgrade to cover them all. But then £55, they're not cheap, but again, they are super durable. You know, I know people who've had these for a few years now, and while like most guards they take a bit of tweaking to set up, a bit of balancing those stays, getting the bolts slid along right to get the right kind of centering on your tyre. Once you've done it, they are very, very secure, very quiet, and they come in two widths as well, so these will fit up to sort of a 30-32mm tyre with plenty of coverage, but there's also a wider one for bigger tyres. So while there are some flip sides in terms of weight, price and whereabouts they'll fit on your front fork, and potential concern about things getting jammed underneath them, if you want a super sturdy, good looking, properly full coverage set of guards, these Kinesis Fend Offs are well worth a look. Oh, and another thing, while I keep forgetting my favourite bits until almost the last, but one really nice touch is that those mud flaps there are actually part of the plastic header card packaging. So while plastic packaging maybe isn't ideal, the fact that you create the mud flaps out of the packaging itself certainly gets them back on the right track in terms of eco-friendliness. So, well, that's my summary of these Fendoff guards. Thanks to Kinesis for sending them in. I mean, unsurprisingly, feel great on my Kinesis RTD bike. I really must do a full build video because I've been riding it a while now, but I will do that shortly. Massive thanks to Zero Cycling UK for sponsoring the channel, to PTs and to Crud. Thanks to my Patreon supporters for supporting the channel on a monthly basis. If you like what I'm doing and want exclusive, extended, behind the scenes and ad-free edits as a thank you, then join me on there for a very small fee a month. But subscribe, click for notifications, give it a thumbs up like, and I'm going to have to say bye now because the hill's really steep me up and I've only got one arm on the bars. So, I've been Guy Kestevan on Guy Kest TV, talking about the Kinesis Fend Off fenders, or mudguards if you're in England like I am.